Welcome. You're listening to the Fly Fishing Journeys podcast, live from the Fly Fishing Show in Marlborough, Massachusetts. Fly Fishing Journeys is proud to be broadcasting live from the event and having great conversations with many of the finest fly fishing and fly tying experts in the world. You can find these podcasts posted to our website, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, and Facebook. To stay up to date with these and other Fly Fishing Journeys adventures, please be sure to follow and subscribe. Here's your host, Rob Giannino.
Well, thank you, Josh, and I could not be more excited to have veteran fly fisherman from Labrador, Mr. Jim Burton of Igloo Lake Lodge. Jim, thanks for being on our podcast.
Rob, it's great to be here. Thanks for the invitation.
No, so good, because I really wanted to come and talk to you a bit, because you guys have this incredible mecca of brook trout there in Labrador, and Igloo Lake Lodge really leads the way for these big brook trout. So I've been following you on Facebook for so long. I've seen your great pictures of your posts of these happy people holding these big brook trout, and I wanted to get into this because for me, brook trout is our love.
Yeah.
That's why we have the logo as our brook trout. It's my favorite fish. And you guys have this incredible resource up there. So I wanted to talk to you about your camp and your brook trout and how people can kind of come and enjoy this resource.
Well, you know, we've been privileged and blessed to be operating what we feel is one of the premier fly fishing destinations in all of the eastern seaboard for large brook trout. And we've been strong proponents of catch and release. Our family has been in the area for 5 decades, and we love coming down to the New England area and seeing great people like you, Rob, and sharing the story. Life is all about stories and creating memories, and that's the business we're in.
It's the journey.
Absolutely. It's the journey.
And, you know, we were fly fishing journals to start, and, you know, the more I thought about it, the journaling is nice and keeping track of everything, but it's really about the journey along the way.
Yeah, you know, it is. And just, you know, being privileged to be a part of that journey in the brook trout resource that we have in Igloo Lake. 72 miles southeast of Goose. We have a large watershed. That's really a large flooded bog. I mean, it's 6 to 8 feet deep. So it's not really traditionally like a deep lake. So the insect life underneath the surface and on top is enormous, and we have among the largest brook trout on the planet. We had a world record recently released in September of 2017, a 10.4-pound brook trout, which is actually, the replica is on display in our booth here today. So the lodge itself, we're always trying to increase that experience and add to that story that we mentioned earlier. So we're always looking at ways to, add to the life and success of the facility, whether it's new buildings, new boats. Of course, our aircraft, a 1951 de Havilland Beaver, and a lot of people that have the opportunity to fly in that Beaver tell me it's a museum piece, and we take a lot of pleasure in making sure that we add components that when we fly up in Labrador, that this aircraft is going to be operational for the full 100 days. Flyouts in remote areas for Atlantic salmon, flying out in remote areas for Arctic char fishing. It is an amazing summer. It is. It really is.
That's really awesome. Let's give our listeners an understanding of where you're located on the map. So if I'm here in Boston or New York, where are you and how can I get to your floatplane base?
That's a great question. So you need to... most of our guests travel out of Logan Airport to Halifax. Short stopover in Halifax, you catch another Air Canada connector, and you're in Goose Bay, Labrador, roughly around 8 o'clock in the evening. There's one flight a day out of Halifax. Then the next morning at 7 o'clock, we fly into the lodge. And that's 72 miles southeast, Rob, 40 minutes in a floatplane.
So 70 miles southeast on the floatplane. So in Goose Bay, you have shuttle service to the floatplane base, so how does that work?
Yeah, we meet our guests at the airport.
Oh, you do?
Oh, yeah, I know. I take great pleasure in meeting all our guests at the airport, and or if I'm flying or I'm out and can't get back, then our representative will meet our guests at the airport. And then we transport them down to the hotel. Then we pick them up the next morning at the hotel, and we bring them back down
you're
to the float
kidding
plane.
me.
Oh, yeah, it's very
okay.
hands-on service.
This is amazing.
Yeah, we love to be able to.
So we're not
meet our
catching
guests.
Ubers or anything like that.
No,
Goose Bay.
No, I don't even think there's an Uber in the eastern part of Canada. But no, we take our job very seriously. We make sure that we have a very hands-on experience with our guests.
So we got 2 flights. We're in Boston. We shoot up to Halifax. Then we shoot up to Goose Bay, and we overnight in Goose Bay.
Yes.
And so that's about how many hours in the 2 flights together combined?
It's about an hour and a half out of here, here meaning Logan, to Halifax, and then about a 2-hour flight from there to Goose Bay.
That's not bad at all.
No, it's not that bad at all. No, absolutely not. No.
And so the next morning we're doing about a 45-minute float plane flight to your camp?
Approximately, yeah, 45 minutes into Igloo Lake. Of course, you get into Igloo around 8 a.m. You proceed to the facility and unpack your clothes, breakfast, and then you're out on the lake fishing.
Now, what type of structure we have for lakes and rivers? Like, tell us about the waters at Igloo Lake.
So Igloo Lake, again, 6 to 8 feet deep. We use 23-foot fiberglass river boats, and they don't draw a lot of water, so we're able to get in close to the shore, and we're looking for it's sight fishing. So you're sort of semi-hunting for the large brookies, and you're seeing some action on the surface, and you're presenting the dry fly to the fish. So that's one way of experiencing the fly fishing for huge brook trout. The other way is we have a lot of streams. We have a large stream behind the lodge. That's the incubator for the lake and really the life and success of our fishery. The fish in that stream are about 1.5 to 3 pounds. It's not uncommon to go down there in the morning and catch 40 to 50 of these small little brookies. We call them small, 1.5 to 3 pounds. And then, of course, they don't go out into the lake till they're larger, north of 4 pounds, because they get consumed by the 7 and 8 and 10 pound brook trout. So we have the stream fishing, we have the lake fishing, and then, of course, we have the aircraft for taking people to very remote sections of Labrador for exclusive trophy Atlantic salmon fishing. And that happens around the 3rd week of July to the 1st week of August.
Well, I'm going to put the brakes on this other 2 flyouts for a second because I know I want to talk about that because that's an amazing stuff. But our listeners may not know that you are the pilot or one of the pilots that run all the air flights in the area.
Yeah.
And so you've been doing that for like 43 years?
Yeah. I've been flying now for, this is my 43rd year coming up.
Unbelievable.
20 years with the Beaver. So for me, it's a passion. I love flying. And we're in the business of creating memories. So I want to make sure that people come, they visit, and they have an exceptional story to tell when they come home. But the aircraft, for me, it's, we have our own little, what we call an air taxi service. So it's a Transport Canada regulated airline. I'm the chief pilot. I'm the president of the company, and I'm also the pilot. I'm also the guy that refuels it and loads it and unloads it.
With the fuel.
Yeah.
And, I've loaded a couple float planes in my day as well with all my gear and stuff. But
I'm looking forward to you coming up,
I'm
Rob,
excited.
and I'm going to get you to help me load that beaver.
I'm going to help you load it and hopefully catch a couple brook trout at the
you
same
will.
time.
Oh, there's no question about that.
I'm excited. Well, let's talk about just the flyouts too, because I think having that plane in the plane, does the plane sit at the property for the week?
Yeah, we're pretty well. We're in and out because
so you're moving around.
Yeah, so I have other charters for other outfitters and mining camps. But when we have guests that come in, when they land in Goose, we discuss the flyouts. So if there's some people that want to do a flyout on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, then the airplane will be based at the lodge. But if there's no one wanting a flyout that week, then no, I'm off doing other work.
You're moving it around.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's such a game changer for you to actually own the float plane because I know, we have a little private fishing club camp in Quebec, and we don't own our plane. We fly out. We only do 40 rods a year, but we don't have that plane sitting there all week or even for the flyouts because we lease it.
Yeah.
But to you guys, the fact to have that connecting point with the lodge and you owning that plane is a huge game changer for your clients.
Absolutely. Having the aircraft, we refer to the aircraft as our pickup truck with wings. So it adds enormously to the life and success of the operation. I mean, you have guests that lose their luggage. It happens. Mm-hmm. We have the Beaver. It goes out and picks up the luggage, brings it back.
That's incredible.
We have the cook from time to time may say, look, we're getting low on tomatoes or potatoes or cheese or whatever. we'll take the beaver out and come back with, we'll add on some propane or some diesel fuel in the airplane to make it a paying trip. But yeah, having the aircraft, and this past summer we had some people in there that got sick, and we had to fly them out. We were sort of the mini air ambulance. But you're right. Having an aircraft at the dock has an enormous benefit, and it creates diversification. And for us at Igloo Lake Lodge, we have enormous large brook trout. We have enormous large northern pike. But now we can tap into a 15-minute flight where we're fishing for 20-pound Atlantic salmon. And that is exciting.
That is exciting. And that's what I was going to ask you is, like, how far? And you mentioned it's 15 minutes. You're in the plane, and you land on another lake, or how does that work?
We're landing on the Upper Eagle River at a place called Owl, like the bird, Owl Brook. And it's a big, we land in a steady with about 4,000 feet to land in this part of the river. We taxi in, we have a boat, we have a motor, and we have some of the best salmon fishing in there that you'll probably find anywhere, comparable to anywhere else in Labrador.
So hold on, I got to put a pause here. So you're landing on this stretch of river.
Yeah.
And you have a boat with a motor waiting for you?
Yeah, we have it there. We leave it there all winter.
So your clients get out of your private plane.
Yeah.
And they get into your boat and motor, and then you motor them upriver?
We have fishing pools in and around where we land the aircraft, so we know exactly where the fish are lying. So with the water conditions at medium, we take people down, and we don't really move people down there unless there's a great predictability of them catching salmon. If the water's high and the fish are not laying in the pools, we don't move people down there. We tell them up front, look, you're going to be fishing in high water. There's a certainty of not catching a fish. We recommend you're not going.
Right.
But so Mother Nature has to cooperate. But the last few years, we've had some exceptional fishing on the Eagle River and it's very remote. Rob, this is a location that there's nobody. When you land the beaver there, there's nothing. Just you and your guests. Sometimes I'll guide. I'll park the beaver on the dock in there, and I'll get out with the guests, and we'll go fishing for salmon.
And what type of salmon are we talking about? Are we talking about grills? Are we talking about big Atlantic? Like, what's your size range for those salmon?
Well, these are all north of 10 pounds. You'll be very rare to catch a grilse in this location.
Wow.
So we have some guests. I have a group of people that have come with me now for 10 years, and they go down there and they camp out. One gentleman from Maine and one from Wyoming with our guide. And, we go in with the beaver from time to time, and they have communication with us nightly to let us know how they're doing. But we've had some amazing success down there. The last time they were down in that location, they had 50 fish they caught. 2 were grilse. The other 48 were all salmon. So
my goodness.
This is an enormous
Are you hearing this right here on the video here? Are you hearing this?
It's true.
This is good
it's true.
stuff.
It's all written down in the logbooks. So it's an opportunity to come in and fish for huge brookies, and then go down for the flyout the last week of July, first week of August for these enormous trophy Atlantic salmon. And then we have the Arctic char fishing.
That's where I was going to get to. And on this Eagle River here, I mean, these are like the flyovers that you see, when you're coming in and out of these lodges, right? That you see these awesome spots, and you say, how cool would it be to land there and fish there?
Yeah.
But with your plane and your experience and your knowledge and your history and where to go, this is all doable. This is not like I wish we could do it. This is we can do it.
Oh, yeah. So that, around the first week of August to the 15th of September, we go up and we fish in the foothills of the Torngat Mountains, some of the highest mountains east of the Rockies. And we're going to be fishing over 800 Arctic char in 4 feet of water. And it's crystal clear. It's one of those places, Rob, I tell you that I go. And I've been around the world, Africa, Antarctica, India, on safaris. But this place, every time I go, and I've been going since I've been a kid. For the last, 45 years, I've been going to the same location. But every time I land my beaver in this lake, I get goosebumps going up my back because I know what's ahead.
The char.
And we go in there and guess in 6 hours we'll release over 100 fish. And they're all north of 4 pounds.
And is this in rivers? Is this in lakes? Or where are you landing? Because I like this story here because I'm kind of getting a picture of how we're landing. And when you're going for the char, what type of water are you landing in?
So we're landing in a lake That's about 5 miles long, and it has a small brook about a mile long at the east end that goes into the Atlantic Ocean.
Okay.
So we're only 6 miles from the ocean
Okay.
where we land. We land at the western end of this lake, and we taxi into a stream, and we're fishing at where the stream enters the lake, and that's where the fish are congregating
Like an inlet.
to mate. Exactly, they're there to mate. But we have a little red fly resembling a shrimp pattern, and we've perfected the fly over decades, and it is the magical fly. Truly, it is. So we have guests that go in again, and sometimes we're not so lucky. We may catch 40 or 50. Other times we're well over 100, and we do a shore lunch. The Arctic char in abundance. They migrate in. And we'll take one and we'll fillet it and we'll fry it up in some oil and some bread and some tea. And I'm telling you, it's delicious.
And are these like more chrome, or are these more colored char?
Mixture. So
Okay.
if you're there in the first run of fish, the first week of August, more chrome. Very silver, freshly in from the ocean.
Fight hard.
And they're big hens. These are all 7, 8, 9, 10 pound fish. As you go towards the middle of August, you're getting smaller numbers. You're probably getting like the 3 and the 4 pounders. And then towards late August, the first fish that came in are now turning into their orangey red colors. So you're fishing for some really colorful, in the mating colors, the Arctic char. And it's similar to the brook trout. 'Cause they
Golden.
turn the real orangey red colors. This perfect. Mother Nature has that wonderful brush, doesn't she?
It's amazing.
On those
and the
fish.
char are the most colorful, beautiful fish.
And fighters.
And
Oh, my
yeah,
golly.
yeah.
I mean, pound for pound, I've got to tell you that the Arctic char are among the strongest fish I've ever had on a fly line. They don't leap like a salmon, but, boy, they're stronger than a salmon. You get an Arctic char on, that's 10 pounds on one of those small number 8 hooks, you're going to have a job to get that fish in.
Tell us about your guides. How does it work with the guiding up in Labrador?
One guide for every 2 people.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have a guide that's with you for that week, and we look at the guest list, and we sort of match the guide, the personality for that guest, because we meet all our guests. We know our guests before they come.
Yep.
We talk to them. We can hear at the show, and a lot of the guests become good friends. Mm-hmm. They become good friends, so we know them, and we're able to match them. So yeah, one guide for every 2 guests. And they come in and for a week. Some people stay 10 days, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, it's a week, for that 90 days that we're open.
So say somebody comes and they just did the Igloo Lodge. They stayed at the lodge the whole
Yeah.
time. What does a day or a week look like as far as the morning and the meals and the lodging and the surroundings and the amenities?
Yeah. So great question. The night before, there's a menu on the dining room table, and you go over and you write your name in, Rob. I'd like to have 2 eggs over easy, or some pancakes and some bacon and some toast. And then when you come out the next morning, the cook has been up since 5:30 preparing all this. You come in and you sit down to the kitchen table at 7 a.m. You're served exactly what you ordered the night before.
Wow.
So around 8 o'clock, you're finished, and you get washed up, and then you're out on the lake fishing for the day. Back for lunch or stay out for a shore lunch. Supper is around 5. We back out on the lake around 6, and back in around 9:30 in the evening. You start the whole thing over again the next day.
You're back in at 9:30?
Yeah, sometimes later. I mean, if it's the end of June, it's not dark till 11, so you may stay out till almost 10.
So you have a night fish?
Absolutely. You fish after supper every night.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, we fish after supper every night.
So you've got a morning fish.
The best time to fish, Rob.
An afternoon fish.
Yeah.
And an evening fish.
Our guests come to fish.
I love that.
Yeah, we take them out, and it's the evening fishing is when all of our bigger fish have been caught. So it's exciting to be exploring and tapping into the daylight hours to the fullest. It's it is a very special place, and what a privilege it is to be a guardian and a person that has been given the right to look after it. How's that saying goes? I if I remember correctly, we don't lease this land from our forefathers. We borrow it for our grandchildren.
That's amazing.
And for us, it's important to be able to be good stewards of the resource and the land. We fly all our garbage out. We encourage people to, use the same towel for the week. We got lots of clean linens, but we encourage, because that's an extra tax on our laundry. But we have lots of towels and face cloths. If someone wants an abundance of them, we have them. We try and stick to the paperless transactions. In our previous lodge, we were bestowed an award by the Newfoundland and Labrador government on our solar power. So we had complete solar power, and we went from 500 gallons of diesel to 11 gallons of diesel a year. So we're very conscious of, being able to protect the environment and the resource. And over the last 20 years, we have had catch and release, a strict catch and release policy at the lodge, and it's paying huge dividends now. People come in and they're catching a lot of these large brook trout and going home with the memories.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's the way you have to do it. There's no need to bring a cooler into a place like Igloo Lake Lodge. It is ridiculous. So catch and release, have a shore lunch if you want, within the confines of the regulations of the lodge. But this is an absolute. And then as far as the lodging, you have people can plug in and charge their phones and stuff. You have electricity or from the solar.
We have a generate electricity at this particular location. Generator comes on around 5:15 in the morning. It stays on until 11:30 at night.
Okay.
So from 11:30 at night to about 5-ish the next morning, there is no power. People that come in with that may need a breathing apparatus at night, we hook up a small generator and run the cord in, and then they have their power for that.
Yeah.
We also have a telephone service at the lodge. We have a satellite high-speed internet service at the lodge, so we have a complimentary telephone service so people can call home and check in with their loved ones. So a little bit of, because people go to a remote area, they like to be able to touch base with their family and say, hi, how are you doing? I'm fine. I'm at this lodge. I'm catching these big trout. It's great. I'm coming back again next year.
Post to Facebook.
Yeah, it's all good. Yeah, you can. I take great pleasure in going around and getting the SD cards of our customers in the evening and uploading those images to Facebook. Because the people that are coming the following week,
they want to know,
what's happening on
what
this week, right? So and I can see that because I would want that too.
Yeah.
It's part of the excitement and being able to tell that story. So we have the amenities that you'll find at home. We have some exceptional staff. Of course, being in the business for almost 5 decades, we've been able to attract people that we feel are among the best in the business that help with those memories for our guests. And our cook is most professional chef. The salads, the wonderful dinners, the hors d'oeuvres that are put out in the evening. The big.
You're not going to go hungry.
Oh no! You're not going to go hungry. I mean, we take a great pride in ensuring that we have the very best that we can buy, and when it comes to providing food for our guests, we have a lot of people that come out and say, "Look, the food was better than the fishing." So it's very important. You're outdoors all day. You want to come back. You want to have that exceptional meal.
So let me see if I get this understanding right. You've got the good sized brook trout in the lake. You've got the feeder brook trout where you can catch on little dry flies in the stream, and you can catch abundance of those all day. You've got the flyouts for big time Atlantic salmon fishing, and you've got some of the best Arctic char fishing in the world on a flyout. And you can do all that in 1 week.
In season, absolutely. You can do that from
obviously, right? Because we have to. It has to be the right season for that to happen. You can't do that all year because the timing of the 3 isn't necessarily going to happen. But the right time of the year, or a mixture of the 3, is.
So if you're Rob, you're right. If you come in like the first week of August, you're coming in and you're overlapping the Atlantic salmon, the beginning of the Arctic char, the big Arctic char. Remember I told you earlier the big hens are coming in all north.
I wish it was August 1st
6
right
to
now.
10 pounds. And you're getting Atlantic salmon over 20 pounds because this is an area that we fish that there's a lot of challenges for Atlantic salmon to get to this location. So it's only the big ones that really reach up there. Although we see a trickle of the grilse, the vast majority are large fish.
They're pushing through.
Oh yeah. So we have some great videos on our website for people to look at to just see the if someone wanted to go in there and look at the videos, of course when you come up, we'll be doing some videos and be able to show those too.
I'm looking forward to it. Bringing the drone and
Plus
why don't we do this again on property?
Yes, we should. I think you should come up to Igloo Lake and we should have it down on the wharf over a coffee down by the beaver, the 1951 de Havilland beaver, serial number 113.
That beautiful
And,
yellow-orange beaver.
Absolutely. And
What
then
is the
we got
website? Tell our listeners.
igloolake.com.
Igloolake.com.
Igloolake.com. And, of course, we have our, for folks that want to go to the social media site on our Facebook page, just go in and Google Igloo Lake. You'll get that. And as far as the airplane is concerned, you can see all kinds of great videos and pictures of the inside and all the wonderful places we've been with the airplane on our Facebook page, Northeastern Sky Services. Yeah.
Well, I cannot tell you. I don't want to wish the year away, but I am absolutely looking forward to being with you again north of the border.
You know, Rob, it's been great talking to you. One little thing I have to say today. Today is a special day in our family. My dad, who started all this business over 50 years ago, is 85 years old today.
I
so
saw
a
that.
big shout out to my dad.
I
Vince
saw
Burton,
that on
85.
Facebook.
Yeah. So happy birthday, Dad. I know when the podcast airs, it'll be beyond that. But today is special
That
in our
is
family.
special.
Yeah, absolutely. Rob, what a pleasure it has been
My
to be on
pleasure,
your
Jim.
show today. And I'm looking forward to getting you up and catching some of those big brookies, big Atlantic salmon, and huge Arctic char, and in the beaver.
And that'll be 2 firsts for me.
Yeah, so exciting times ahead.
Thank you, Jim.
More memories and more stories ahead.
Igloo Lake Lodge. We'll see you soon.
Thanks, Rob.